So I just had a random idea yesterday when I watched X-Men, and I just wanted to create this effect, and I just created it while recording it. So it's a live lesson, basically a live course. So if you want, make out of that what you want. I will eventually implement it into Unreal 4, a bit more straight out, but this here is just Blender right now, so maybe you learned something while following this course tutorial or whatever. What this effect basically is, it's a wave where those squares got pushed up and you can lay a texture below. In my case, I just rendered a quick displacement of a canyon, which we're going to do in this course here as well. And I just laid this canyon below it. So it's waving through, then you see the canyon and it's waving off. So you could basically change the texture and put whatever below that. For example, I'm imagining in a game you would have a table and you walk to the table and then this wave got through and you see the map, yeah? And you walk off and it's waving off. I just were a bit too lazy to create a proper material for that, yeah? But I eventually will do that. Let's make a plane here. Go into edit mode and we're going to press I. Actually, press I and left click right away. So now we should have 8 vertices here, but I'm not going to move it. And I'm going to make a shape key here, right? Put it to 1, go edit mode, and I'm going to, you know what? Let's not make a shape key. Let's just go edit mode and S.5. That's all we need. And then we're going to make an array modifier here. And let's say we array it 100 times. Okay. And we're going to duplicate it. And we're going to change the axis from X to Y, meaning we have a huge field here now. Right, we can apply the array modifier, but make sure you have this inner part selected and then apply it. Now we can go into edit mode. Change this to interval origins S2. 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 There we go. So, okay. I'm going to keep this selected just in case. And now we need to change a few settings over here. We're going to go into cycles. Change this to GPU if possible. And we're going to put a material on the thing. Let me scroll down and somewhere it says, let's see, gotta find it first of all. Yeah. Under settings, surface, bump only, and we're going to use displacement only for now. Maybe more. Let's use displacement and bump. Then we're going to work with nodes here. I'm going to make a displacement texture, displacement. I'm going to connect this. Actually, that's wrong. We need not the vector displacement, we need the normal displacement. Connect this in here. And then we're going to press Shift A, make a UV map. Separate RGB, connect this, put in the UV. Now we have to do the UV unwrapping. Just go into edit mode, top view, make a group, Control J, right? Because this is the inner parts here, right? So I made a group out of that, just in case I have to select it again. Now select everything. U in top view, project from view. And over here we can, this is an add-on, fill, just make sure it's properly filled, like that. Okay, now let's make a color ramp. And we're going to connect R, connect this here to the output, let's see how it looks like. Okay, we're going to put a white 2.5, make another one, make it all the way over here, make it black. We have something like this here. And if we now connect this output to the height and there we go, we see a little bit of a displacement going on. If we turn up the scale, it's obviously going to get stronger, right? So this is not quite right though. We have to do a few more things. Let's go edit mode and we're going to select our group here, select. And we go tap vertex paint, check this box up here, and we're going to make these inner ones white, so set vertex color. I'm currently having a white, so those are white. Control I, change it to black, set vertex color to black. Okay, this will be our base mask. And we have to go into edit mode, and with our group here select, we have to go to the UV map here and to individual origins S0, and those will be now, those squares will be one single dot. Okay. Now, over here we're going to make a math, which we put in front. We're going to make a value, put the value in here, put it to 0 for now, and we can make a frame out around this. And in the end window we call this move, I guess. And after the color ramp, we're going to make another mask, and we change this to power. Where's power? Yeah. And we make another value and a frame, and we call this, yes, here, sharpness. So if we turn this up, actually should probably connect it. Yeah, you can see it's getting sharper. In the one is a base value, so it should stay 1. If you want it stronger, lighter, you can just turn this up. Okay. All right. Now we need the vertex color. We just set up. We check. We put in our vertex color. We make a math node, and we multiply our color ramp with the vertex color mask. Okay. And we should probably clamp it here. And I'm going to turn this up a bit. Okay. A little bit of a weird thing going on. Here maybe it's mid level. Let's change the mid level to 0. There we go. That is right now. The mid level was what's causing it. So now if we change the move over here, you can see this is kind of sliding through here, right? Let's change, stay with 0. And I think, see, the vertex color in the back here is just like a safe value because we don't want certain vertices to move. This here is the base ramp, so let's make a frame. Put this in here, and this is the base ramp or something, the base control. And now we can make a noise. Let's say a simple noise, and we just make a UV, put the UV in, and let's take a look how it looks like. That's pretty okay. We can make this maybe a bit bigger or something. And we're going to take out the detail. We don't need the detail here. Roughness maybe as well. Like it matters much. And let's use a color ramp in case we want to modify it a little bit or something. And make a frame. Oh, maybe not a frame yet. Let's make a math. Vector math. No, not vector math. A simple math. And over here we're going to combine this with a math node. And we're not really going to add it. We should probably multiply it. So let's see. Maybe we should get some detail here. Let's put up the a bit. I think it's just simply too big. Get it way smaller. There we go. Not detail. A little bit distortion might help. Let's see how it looks like actually. I want to just see it. It's a bit much distortion. Let's stay with the 0. There we have somewhat of a pattern still going on. And this distortion. Like a 1 or so. Okay. Now over here. That's looking good. And we can move this through. Okay, now we just have to maybe this shouldn't be quite 0. It should be like RGB over here, and let's put in like a 0.01. Yeah. And this here, if we want to change the strength of the noise, we just have to turn this a bit down. But I'm going to stay with that one here for now. Alright, but we're not done here. Let's go to Edit, Preferences. And you can already see I typed it already in and activated. Just type in Landscape and you get like the Landscape add-on. Then we're pressing Shift A and under Mesh we have a landscape. Okay, and up here under the operator thingies I'm going to use Canyon. Or Canyons, there are a lot of different defaults here. No, not Canyons. I'm going to go with, what is Cliff? Cliff is also interesting, but no thank you, I'm going to use Canyon. Okay, this is looking pretty good. The main idea is not really that we're going to do a landscape, it's just that I need a landscape to visualize what I'm going to do. Usually I probably would use whatever landscape I created or whatever. It's a bit low poly, let's turn up the subdivisions maybe on both here. Come on. Like 500 maybe. Hopefully nothing crashes. Lows, I would say. But okay. We're going to hide our other plane here for now. And we're going to set. Can we make a plane? Plane is exactly as big as that part is. GZ. Move this a bit up. And we make a new material on here really quick. Delete that, and we're going to make a image, and we just make a new image. Let's make this ×4. So, and we just call this Canyon or something. We don't need alpha, 32-bit float. Okay, change it to non-color because it's only going to be black and white. Then we select the bottom, then we select the top. We go to the render tab under bake. Make a save here just in case something crashes, and we're changing this to, I think it was environment, and select it to active. Max ray distance, let's put in like a 0.1. Actually we should probably check how far that is. Let's go front view, and I'm just going to use the measurement tool here. I'm going to drag from the top to the bottom here, and we can see it's like more like a 0.35. So let's make a 0.4 out of that. And then we should just be able to hit bake with the node over here selected. This one select first, this one selected last, and bake. Okay, this didn't quite work out. Not sure why, but I have a different way of doing things. Let's go and change this to emit. And we're going to make a material on the low one here. New. And let's delete this node, Shift A. Let's make a geometry, I think it was, and a separate RGB. And I'm going to plug the position in this here, and I'm going to use a, well, let's connect this first of all, let's see. Okay, I want the blue I want to connect. There we go. Yeah, this seems all right. No, well, not quite. I mean, yes, whatever. This should be fine. Select the bottom, then the top, and then we're going to bake this again, but with a mid this time. Ray distance 0.4, this should all be all right, and let's wait a bit. Okay, and this definitely worked out. Now I think we can just delete the landscape, we don't need it. Oh, and what, you know what, just in case I did something wrong, let's not delete it, but we can delete, or just turn off the plane as well. And back to our first plane here. So, okay. And we're going to save the image, just save somewhere. Yep, 100% compression, 16 and black and white. And save this. Back to our plane here. Actually, you know what? We should probably copy the material, the image here. Copy it, and we can paste this in here. So where were we? Let's go back to cycles, so we see our actual displacement, and let's connect this canyon node here. And we can see we have the canyon on here. It's maybe a little bit big. Let's put a UV in here, connect it UV, and we need a math node or vector math node. Change it to multiply and make a value, connect a value in here, and with a 1. Okay, so now we could scale it down. We can see it's going to repeat itself, so we need to change this to flip. It's not going to repeat itself. Now it's kind of over there. We want to place it, so we need a math node here again, the same one, and change it to add. And here we can just move the position, right? Move it where we kind of want it. Alright. Alright. So with that we have this base layout. We go back here, just need to check where we are. Let's make a frame around here. Let's call this noise, I guess. And make another frame. And this is going to be the texture. Okay. So how do we combine this? We definitely need a math node here. But no matter how we connect it, it's not going to work out. What we have to do first, let's give us some more space here. We have to get our ramp again. So I'm going to copy, not really copy, we have to get a different iteration of that. So let's make a copy of the color ramp here. And we have to make sure, if we now connect this over here, let's just see what this looks like. And we need a power with the same connected over here. Let's put this to 1 for now. Okay. We have to change this up a bit. Because if we move this over, yeah, we have to make sure that we have a little bit, we have a white in the back here as well. But we cannot just change the color ramp. We have to combine this differently. So for that here, I'm going to delete one black here. I can delete the wrong black. Let's go a step back. What if I delete this black here? There we go. This is what I need. That's going to stay white. All right. Turn this up here. I just want to see what's going on then. And let's just, the power is kind of in the way. Let's just stay with the one here. Okay. This whole part doesn't really go to the displacement. Move this a bit up. Make a reroute node. This whole part is for the texture. Make another reroute node, copy it, and I'm going to move it down. This is for the texture. This is telling us when the texture should turn on. So we're going to multiply this with the texture. Come on, please. And let's see how this looks like. Okay, this is definitely going there, giving the right values. And now we just have to combine it. Over here we have the base color ramp. And we want this in the back to stay. So we are going to need another math node and we're going to add this together. So, and this goes in here. Please just let it work. Connect the last one here. And if we now move this through, let's start with a, I don't know. There we go. Cool, actually. Just that the canyon might need a bit of a stronger value. So we need an intensity value for the canyon. This is going in here, it's just turning it on. So we need this intensity value here in front, which could just be a math node and a value. And we make another frame here for that value. And that frame is going to be called intensity. And if we turn this up, wrong. Only so. If we want it overall stronger, we have to check the scale. Okay, so let's see. Okay. Definitely something broken now. Start with a 0. And go through, and the canyon will stay, or whatever texture you're putting in. Actually pretty like that. This is actually pretty cool. It was just a quick idea when I watched X-Men yesterday. I think it was the first one or something. Thought it's actually pretty easy to do, so then I actually liked it. Saved it up. Now, first of all, you can see if I'm moving this through here, how some parts are snapping to the maximum. So what we have to do over here, in the intensity, we clearly have to go a bit down. Start with a 1, and I just want to make sure that the maximum doesn't like snap on. You can see it snapping on kind of here. Yeah, we probably not going over 1 is the best option here. 1 is going to be the maximum. Now it will not snap on here and just stay there. Still a bit of a problem. I think we have a little bit of a math problem here, because when the color ramp goes through, it will do what? It's going to multiply with, that makes sense, it's going to add it. Okay, I get it. Let's change this back. Goes into the multiply here. You're up here. You're in here. We stay with a 1 for now. The main problem is just that this first color ramp is a bit too strong. So let's go back to 0. If we move this through, the first one is just way too strong. We have to lower the intensity of this part here. Means, I just wonder if we can clamp this. This is not going to change anything, so we need another multiply here. And value. And frame. And we call this wave intensity. Okay. And you can already see it went a little bit down. Let's try 0.5. And let's see. We just need to get it kind of even, you know. Still not really even. I mean, it can be a little bit higher. But so let's see. Kind of even. And if we want the overall strength, we have always this value over here, where we can just drag this a bit up. And maybe we want to turn this off, right? So we probably need this part again here. I'm just going to copy this, shift here, somewhere down here. Let's make a bit more space. Okay. And what we want now is to multiply color ramp through it. Meaning, let's just check this one here. And if we move this, what it basically should do is start with a 1 and go down to 0. So we need this color down here, just a little bit different way around. Start with a 1 and turn off with a 0. Where's the 0? The 0 is here. and turn it off. Right. Okay. We don't need the upper parts here. And we can just use another math node. Multiply with that here. And let's check this out. If we want to turn this off. Yeah, I think I'm a bit wrong here. That's fine. Okay. All right. So, oops. Here. Turn it off. Yep. Isn't that cool? Maybe we should sharpen this a little bit out though. And we can bring this back here. It should be fully shown. Maybe we should make this even stronger. Not too strong though. I want it a little bit soft. I mean, maybe we don't even need the power here in this case. Let's make a reroute node. I think the color ramp will make this easier for us. First of all, I have to see it. I'm going to drag the height a bit in. Yeah. And I'm going to move this a bit out. Start with a 0 and it's a bit in here. Let's move it out. Like a 0.2. Trying to get some base values down, you know. And here we're starting with a 0 usually. Not really, this should go from here-ish, from a 1 to -1. Okay, so what we can do to limit those values, we can select this node, Control G, and we can delete this node and connect this right through here. Then on the node here, we can select the value, and here's a min and a max value, and min is going to be -1 and max is going to be 1. And default, let's see, it's default supposed to be 1. What is the default supposed to be? Default is supposed to be 1. So let's put the default to 1. And by the way, I can go in there by pressing tab, right? And now we can just drag this through to -1. 1 to -1, right? And this other color ramp will adjust automatically. I just wonder what happens if we turn this up, right? To something extreme. If I go to 1, still going to work perfectly and still has the same range. Yeah. This is settled so far. Let's make this maybe rename this. First to animate, I guess. And we can check the color, make it a strong red so we don't miss it. This is just for adjustments. This is just for adjustments, not really an active node. The texture here, let's make a frame for the texture. Put it in here, make the, oh, what's the intensity? No. And I mean, form texture. Also making it red, depending on the situation. This might be a different thing. And this are just adjustments. Intensity. This here is the turn off ramp. So turn off ramp. Okay. And here we're going to animate this value here. We should check what we need here. So we're starting with a 0, not quite a 0. Probably something less than a 0. 0.2 set, right? And from a 0.2 we need to go to about -1. Okay, point 2 is the base value. Control G, delete this node, connect this, select the value over here. Min value -1, max 1, no, 0.2, and default is 0.2. So if we want to turn it off, we can just drag it over here. That's a pretty solid working effect, I think. I think this is something that could work pretty cool in Unreal in real time. Sadly we cannot do this in real time here. Okay, so over here we don't, in the turn off ramp we don't need the power, we're just going to do this with the color ramp itself, we said. So let's move this a bit over. Here, let's clean this a tiny bit up. Alright. Here in the texture, I think it might be good if we just hide the multiply and the intensity value here, because I think the way we set it up is just fine. If we want to readjust it more, what's going on here? Come on, can I not? It's a bit buggy here, isn't it? Oh, come on. Frame, the frame goes into this here. Texture. Red. It's a bit buggy here. Now I can in here. What I wanted to do here is use a color ramp and put it in front of the multiply. I think in front, and we can cut down the deeper parts here, you see? Just adjusting the color ramp a bit. But in this case, I'm not going to do this. It's just an additional height adjustment, if you so want, right? So you could probably just have something like this here, if you want to cut it up or something. I don't know. But I think we should have like a base ramp around that whole thing on default, so around the texture. What I need for that is, I have it somewhere, let me see if I find it. I have this texture over here, which I'm probably going to share in the description or something, right? It's a soft square. I just dragged it in, back to our plane here. And I'm going to make a Shift-A image node. I'm just going to like select my square here. Let's connect this really quick. And I put a color ramp behind it, color ramp. And I can just drag the white a bit over. And you can see we get like a squarish, soft cutoff thing here. Right. Bit more space. And I'm going to multiply this over here. So let's take a look. And you can see the edges are always going to be a bit lower with this texture here. Let's see, last one. So that the edges are not like bulbing out, you know. Okay, with that we have here the soft square now around, like I said. And we can just use the color ramp to maybe make this softer or bigger. Frame, and we call this frame edge cut off. Okay. Alright, let's just see if we can clean this a bit out here. I mean, I didn't build it very confusingly, it's pretty much fine. Eventually we can put this part above, because it's connected to this color ramp over here. So maybe this is a little bit more logical. And this whole part here is, make a frame. This whole part here goes into the frame, and this frame is the texture. Maybe give it a little bit of a color or something. This here is the base ramp. Let's give it a little bit of a color. Okay. So overall wave intensity, also relatively important. This is just noise variation. Okay. Tiny bit of color here or something. And this here is the turn off ramp, and not everything is inside here. From a little bit of color. And here, this one is the second to animate move. What did we call the other one? First to animate. Here, this is going to be the second to animate. And clearly needs a strong red, so we don't get it. I mean, this sharpness. This is all looking good. Okay. Now I think this is basically done here, because we can just first to animate, right? From 1, I'm looking from the wrong side here, to 0, and whatever texture is below there will stay. And we have the edge cut off with a texture here, and then we have the second to animate, which is going from 0.2 to 1. It's a bit sharp, maybe we can make this softer, maybe. There's a problem. Okay, because we use the color ramp here to make it sharper, right? It's going to change the way it sharpens out. Maybe we should use a power here. Let's try to swap it out with a power, level up, and the value. Probably clamp it. Okay. Base value of 1. Let's change this up to 1 here as well. Okay. 1 to -1. Sharp. There we go, the power works definitely better. Get rid of the color ramp. Okay. And then we have the second one to animate. It's right now very soft. I really don't want it that soft. It's soft like a 10 or so. Take a look again. Yep. Here we have the sharpness of the ramp. Did I want to change the sharpness? Maybe a bit, don't I? Okay. And something about the wave intensity and yeah, the wave intensity can be a bit more. I want to animate. I feel like there should be a second wave going through, maybe. Maybe we should change this a bit. Let's copy this part again. And here we have the whole thing. So what basically needs to happen, another wide wave needs to go through. Just like the same as before. But then it needs to stay black. So basically exactly what we have here. So we didn't actually need to change something. Let's just make a reroute here real quick. We actually have a reroute here. And let's just swap it out and see. Okay, something is a bit off here. Something is a bit off. Oh. Let's start here. Something broke because we're multiplying it. Okay. Back to our base values. Can we just reset this? Base value is always 0. True. Onion stays. Why did it? Why was it broken? Stays. And then, how does this ramp look like? It's white. And then goes dark. It is pretty simple. But we cannot really go higher. Let's see. Okay, this means just down here we have to have a base value of 0.5. I'm going to change all of those to 0.5. And this here also to 0.5. Okay, well, all of you please. 0.5. So, and we're going to multiply this. Multiply by 2. So if we have 0.5 here and we multiply it by 2, it's going to be 1. This is going to be 2 because it's 1. This is going to be 1 again. Actually, this should be probably black. So point is that we're starting with a 1, then we're going to a 2, which is higher, and then back to 0. And if we flip this now in here, oops, hopefully it's not going to work. Why? Probably because we have the wrong value or something. Yeah, maybe it's a bit coming from the wrong side, right? And it's turning off. It's working, but it's coming from the wrong side. So we start over here with a 1 and then go to -1. Just that the color ramp is flipped, I think, so we have to flip those out really quick. And if we now animate this, this is cool. Let's go through it one more time because I also get a little bit confused. Let's make a write in brackets here. Start with 1. Okay, so I don't forget this. We can also uncheck your shrink, then we can make this a bit wider. Start with 1, meaning we're going to go to -1. Okay. Then we have our landscape, which we put up here, and then we can change this to -1. Maybe this is a bit weak, isn't it? So it's actually not the sharpness anymore. Let's unconnect this and put a 2 in here. Hide it this anymore, and we can copy this and change this to power for sharpness. Up maybe 40, 50. And if we animate this, ooh, okay, interesting. Okay. Now I think we have to clamp this here. So, and it should be very hard, yeah. Actually, we shouldn't clamp it, okay. We shouldn't clamp this. What we have to do is get another, we have to get a clamp node, a direct clamp node. Plug this in here. Because our max value is 2, right? And clamp always clamps between 0 and 1. And the max is going to be 2. Now we can this in here. So now the wave still should happen. I mean, this is obviously overkill anyway. I mean, if we wanted it together, we just have to grab the plus here. Together. I mean, it's just a mix of ramp, I guess. And then we can move this. How did we combine it? We used the multiplier. That's alright. And it's going to be the second to animate. And we're starting with one here. Start with 1. Shrink turned off. Let's have it out. Okay. Let's save that up. The canyon here. And we have cool. Now let's make a material for that, I think. So this is just the whole displacement. We didn't actually make a material. When I watched the movie, I just saw a simple metal material. So let's make a principal shader. And I'm just going to connect the principal shader here. Maybe let's make a light here really quick. Okay, RX. Yeah. In here. And I just want a lot of roughness. Okay. Metal full. And color. Okay. A little bit less rough. 0.15 seems fine. We don't really have a HDRI here. What can we turn this on? Can turn on the HDRI here by just turning this off. And I guess we're also turning off the scene light. Right matter, I just want to see this here. And let's put in let's see. Noise. Okay. Let's just check the noise here. Noise should probably have a lot of detail. Quite a lot of roughness, maybe a little bit smaller here. And in fact, I think we should probably make a second UV. So let's make a new UV here, and we call this texture UV. Broke, so I'm just going to press U and project from view, and it'll know what I wanted to do there. But now we have a second UV with a nice layout. Actually, this is not quite right. We have to select our group S.5 with our individual origins S.5. Now we can project from view, select our group again, and S2. So now we have a second UV, and we're going to make a UV here. Plug this in there. Texture UV. Just see how this looks. Okay. Can make a color ramp and can plug this into the roughness here. Smaller render area. So, and I'm going to rough this a bit up. Oops, maybe a bit more. That's maybe a bit big, but a bit smaller. So now I added a little material here. Sadly I forgot to press record. Let me just make this big for you. Honestly, it's not a good material like whatsoever. It's just like something I put in really quickly to, well, have something in there. I don't really feel like texturing stuff right now. You can just build it or whatever. Or can make a much better material if you want. It's honestly not looking that great. Look here. There can be probably this has a lot more potential. Maybe a height shader or something. I don't know. Whatever, it's up to you. And then I just like animated here those two nodes here. Where is it? I animated this node here and I animated this node here. Like going to render this now. Let's just play this once. Yeah. Canyon is going to stay there a while. It's gone. Right? And I'm just going to save this and render this out now. And this is basically done.